David Keenan, a local musician.
Marcus Farrell, and I'm a producer and musician.
Hi, I'm Scott McClure. I'm a director at Crestbridge and I'm a chartered accountant by background.
Hi, I'm Chris Caulfield. I'm also a director at Crestbridge. My background is being a charter secretary.
Hello, my name's David. I know Kieran primarily through performing, and we've grown to become best friends.
Hi, I'm Kieran, and yes, that is indeed how we know each other. We are kind of like family.
Hi, I'm David Scott. I'm an IT consultant, and this is my son, Ollie.
Hi, I am Ollie. I'm David's son. I am a music producer and songwriter.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm a therapeutic counsellor for Liberate, and I'm also a volunteer bereavement counsellor for Jersey Hospice Bereavement Service.
Hi, I'm Hugo. I work for Mind Jersey as the operations manager and a mental health first aid instructor.
I'm Adam, and I'm a counsellor at the Listening Lounge.
Mental health, I guess the awareness and ability to manage your well-being.
I guess I would kind of call it like how your headspace is functioning, I guess. So like how you're, more than how you're feeling, like but how you're functioning with those feelings, I think.
Mental health to me is just about everyone's mental well-being, you know, being healthy if possible, but people, it's like health in general. People go through good times, bad times, you know, and everything in between.
Anyone's state of mind, do they feel good about themselves? What's worrying you? You know, are there any concerns?
It's internal health. We haven't perhaps been so used to acknowledging as needing as much attention as our physical health.
Intangible state of being, really. It's not something that you can always see. Sometimes it manifests itself physically. You might be smiling because you're happy. That's a state of your mental being. Sometimes you might be crying because you're sad, and that's like a physical manifestation of maybe sadness or another emotion, depending on what that emotion is.
Mental health is that relationship that you have with that inner dialogue. I think that inner you drives a lot of your initiative, your creativity, your decision making, and when you have a healthy relationship with it, I think it's very supportive. It's what gets you through things.
We are kind of two people. We are the person who we are on the outside, the people we choose to show to people. You know, we are the person who we express ourselves openly, and we are the person who we are inside, the person we choose to hide. Especially with someone who has Tourette's, you know, I've been in times where I don't love myself sometimes, you know, and it's about the person I'm on the outside is actually a bit of a lie.
So there's good mental health, when you're kind of aligned with your sense of self, a good sense of self-awareness, you know, what your values are, and you're in line with your values so that you feel you feel content and kind of happy.
Yeah, I get Russell Brand.
I'd go with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Lance Armstrong.
Alan McCoist.
Superman.
Gandhi.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
I think just being grounded. Yeah, you can tell when you speak to someone who's like just grounded, it comes across quite well.
I guess just drive and ambition, I think. It's probably...
I think of Lance Armstrong purely around his mental strength.
I just always seen him when I was younger as a resilient winner.
He is literally the man of steel.
I think Gandhi's strength comes from his mind over body.
Huge.
Yeah, physically powerful.
I think listening is important.
You just chat to their friends or chat to their family and see if they can check in if they've got a closer relationship with them than I have, I think, and just check in, see if they're all right.
First and foremost, listen, see how bad you think it is, and then give them a bit of advice around that.
I would just listen. And my immediate reaction wouldn't be You know, you'd think, go and speak to your doctor. If it was a friend or someone you cared about, whatever, I think the best thing to do is just sit, have a pint, have a cup of coffee and just listen to what they've got to say. I'm far from an expert on advising people one way or another, but I think sometimes people just need to get it out.
I would ask if he's okay.
For me, it'll be just about assessing what they, at that time, what's the most helpful thing that I can do. Is it just sitting and listening? Is it just being there, being present? Do they want to talk about what they're feeling? Do they just want company? Do they want space? And I can be at a distance and just observe and make sure they're safe.
If I came across Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson crying, my first thing I would do is probably I'd want to go give him a massive hug.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, yeah. Give him a hug.
Give him, yeah, somehow wrap my arms around him.
Yeah, man, for those guys.
You've got like your anxieties, your depressions. I actually had panic disorder, which was literally like for no reason. It'd be like, there you go, mate, have a panic attack, which is brilliant.
Probably anorexia, I think, is maybe one.
Things like depression,
Anxiety,
borderline personality disorder,
imposter syndrome,
Schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, bipolar, Tourette syndrome. Is that a mental illness or is it disorder?
Yeah.
But what is...
Agoraphobia.
Which one's that?
It's the one you're scared to go outside. OCD.
OCD, that's a disorder.
I think we're...
So depression, anxiety, panic attacks that can come from there.
PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, psychosis.
Bipolar, psychotic episodes. So you can have a period of psychosis that can be temporary and people can recover from. Schizophrenia, eating disorders and self-harm as a behaviour associated with poor mental health.
Yeah, I've kind of done a short course that's just like with all the other kind of groups and schools and people we work with in mental health to kind of just update about it. But that was my first experience, to be honest with you, and it's probably a small slice of a bigger cake.
Yeah, I've not even come across anything like that. I didn't really know that mental health first aid was a thing.
Yeah, I've done the mental health first aid course, which I just found so invaluable. There's people in the office that need some help sometimes, and just a friendly ear to listen to.
I was not. I mean, I was very quickly briefed about it in the conversation we had 5 minutes ago. But yeah, no, I didn't know it was a thing.
I've been aware of it, I think, for probably 3-4 years.
No. I don't, I've never heard of that.
No.
If we look at mental health first aid in the same way as we know about physical first aid, it's about those early interventions to respond to people with a physical injury or in physical crisis. So mental health first aid is exactly the same. We are responding to the signs and symptoms of deteriorating mental health in people. We are giving you an overview of what mental illnesses are and how they manifest in people and what might have caused them. We are giving our delegates the skills to be able to offer empathetic support to people around them.
Alcohol, drugs, relationships, overworking, lack of sleep.
So I don't think you can really say it's one thing.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, that causes mental health issues.
You know, a bereavement in the house, getting laid off from your job. I might be sad for 3 or 4 days. The same thing happens to one of your colleagues or your pal, and then, you know, they're sad for 3 or 4 years.
Financial woes, social media, keeping up with the Kardashians.
You know, all the anxiety that must bring for every kid these days to be perfect in their own life. It must be a killer.
Bullying and harassment, I think, are major ones, both face-to-face and online.
I mean, spending a lot of time alone can really can do things to your mind sometimes. If you're constantly ruminating and overthinking a situation, you might sometimes actually put yourself in a bad headspace.
Loneliness is an absolute killer, I think. And I think it's really important for us to check up on people, especially during this time.
Yeah. Stress for me, number one, stress.
Being part of a minority group like LGBTQ+, or ethnic minority group, feeling like you're on the periphery of society and that kind of lack of representation, and trauma.
A loss of a partner or loss of a loved one, and how their purpose changes, and that can cause a great amount of stress.
Something for me that really helped was like meditating and things like that.
So that's all right. It's quite
Like,
common now, I reckon.
like before bed most nights I'll do like a headspace, do the little things every day that make you happy, even if like it doesn't necessarily make you money or it's not part of like your your main goals.
It's building that community, and I think opportunity comes through that as well. That's for me an important thing. Like if I make sure I'm happy with all those little things like the relationships, my work and all that kind of stuff, you know, things kind of fall into place around there.
And I look to go for a run or something like that. Just get away from it for, even if it's just a quick blast around the block.
You know, try and keep myself active, speak to friends, speak to colleagues.
Meditation.
Going for walks, enjoying company of others, and also leisure activities like for yourself, enjoying time doing things that you like doing.
Music.
Exercise.
Nature. Sun exposure particularly. I would say fresh air.
Just get that dialogue out of your head and out in the open. And then actually, you know, when you do voice how you're feeling, people often have the answers and can help you.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's all about communication.
Problem is, your mind is like a maze. It's such a big maze. It's so easy to just get trapped in it. But the truth is, if you let it out, put it out in the open, it's out. You know, you don't get trapped in it. And I always say to myself, you know, if I've got loads of thoughts running around my head, like, I just write it all down. And all of a sudden, what felt complicated isn't anymore, because I can just see it, I can visualize it.
First of all, you need to acknowledge that it's okay to invest some time in self-care. Create that time and space and allocate it so you're dedicating that time to yourself. The practice of mindfulness is very helpful because essentially you need to bring yourself into the present to be able to work out where you're at. And if your head's worried about the future, then that's, you know, all anxiety inducing. If you're stuck in the past, then essentially you're just dealing with echoes of your mind, and really you want to be present.
One evidence-based piece of research that New Economics Foundation has done brings that back to the 5 ways to well-being. So 5 simple things that we can do on a daily basis to invest in our mental health in a positive, healthy way. And those things are taking notice, keep learning, being active, giving, and connecting.
But exercise is one thing, because it actually impacts a lot when we think about sort of the happy endorphins, the happy drugs that we get naturally in our head.
I'm aware of the Yes Project, or 3 I think.
I don't know of many of them.
Chris Caulfield. That's my work.
So I think the sort of default option is your doctor.
So if you're under 25, you can access, well, there's CAMS, and there is the Yes Project through the Jersey Youth Service, Liberate Jersey, also offer a free counselling service. If you are over 25, you can access adult mental health services, Mind Jersey. Also, if you're under 25, you can also access Mind Jersey.
There's the Samaritans.
Mind's Jersey. Yeah, the Samaritans, yeah.
There's obviously CAMS for kids.
So one option is Liberate, and they offer a variety of support in regards to anything that can really come through the door. So we could look through coming out, for the LGBT community. We can look at sort of discrimination that can happen for the BAME community. Feel free to make an appointment with us using the email.
I'm very proud to be part of a team at the Listening Lounge. We've got an informal service where you can actually just book in, get a private space with a peer support worker who can listen to you, help you unload, unpack what it is you're going through and potentially guide you towards an improved state of mind. Alternatively, you could consider actually like quite a goal-orientated approach, so you could go for our counselling service. If you start to notice your mental health declining, or you just can't work out what's going on for you, just make contact with us. Pick up the phone. We're open 10 in the morning till 10 at night. There'll always be someone there to answer, and we'll go from there.
Another option is Jersey Hospice Care, and that can be accessed regardless of whether you've used the service or not before. Counselling with Jersey Hospice Care is specifically linked to bereavement and is free, confidential. You can contact via the number or the email.
The team at Mind Jersey have a vision of a community without stigma around mental health. We are passionate about empowering and supporting people to protect their mental health, to look after their mental health and well-being, and to support people who are living with a diagnosis of mental illness, their friends and their family and their carers. Please come and see us at our accessible central location on Union Street in town. Reach out for support on social media or via email or phone. We want to hear from you, and we're here for you.